The information provided by Trading Forex Price Action to you does not constitute personal financial advice. The information provided is of a general nature only and does not take into account your individual objectives, financial situation, or needs. It should not be used, relied upon, or treated as a substitute for specific professional advice.
Hey guys, this is a midweek analysis for May 18th of 2022. Alright, let's start out with the dollar CAD pair.
Okay, this is a daily chart. Let me run you by the current setup I'm looking at. For the last long trade, that form was right here. And then as price rose, there were consecutive weak short trades that formed all in these areas right here that were all weaker than this long trade. However, last week at this point right here, there was a new short trade that if we go strictly from this daily chart strength, is slightly stronger than this long trade. So again, going strictly from this daily chart strength, the daily bias is short, or in other words, price is likely to reach this pivot low before reaching this pivot high. However, the ultimate say in terms of the direction of this daily bias is dependent on lower time frame confirmation. Let's go ahead and see what's happening over there. Let's go over to the 4-hour chart. Okay, so on this 4-hour chart, there was strong short confirmation just confirmed about 4 hours ago. And that's from this trend line from this pivot to this pivot right here. So there was a breakout, an immediate break back in, signaling normal, long strength. However, price came right back down and about 4 hours ago reached that pivot low where that normal long strength was created and thus created strong short strength. Okay, so for the time being, the lower time frames are confirming a daily short bias. However, in this case, I cannot take a mid-row short entry with a stop loss at this pivot high where that strong short strength was created because there is no overarching strength on this pair. So I will need a nice pullback all the way up to the 29.76 levels, roughly around here, to take a short entry. Again, with the stop loss at this pivot high and the main target at lower levels on that daily long trades pivot low. Now that said, I need price to pull all the way back up to these 29.76 levels without making any further 4-hour and above strong strength. Okay, so for example, I draw on this trend line from this pivot to this pivot right here. Now if price breaks this out and immediately breaks back in, hour still comes right back up to that pivot high right here, well, that will create strong long strength. In which case, if this strong long strength forms, even if price pulls all the way back to the 29.76 levels, I cannot take a short entry, but this is confirming a daily long bias. Okay, so again, I do not want any strong 4-hour and above long strength to form, and moreover get a pullback to 29.76 levels in order to take a short entry. Again, with the stop loss at this pivot high and the main target way below on the daily long trades pivot low. Alright, so we'll just see what happens with this one. Let's go on to the Euro-Yen pair. Okay, this is a weekly chart. Let me run you by the current setup I'm looking at. So the last weekly long trade that form was right here. And the last weekly short trade that form was right here. Now going strictly from this weekly chart, this long trade is slightly stronger than this short trade, so the weekly bias is long. Or in other words, price is likely to reach this pivot high before reaching this pivot low. Alright, so for the last couple of weeks, I've been looking for lower confirmations that confirm this long weekly bias. Let me go ahead and show you what's happening with that. Go over to the 4-hour chart. Okay, so on this 4-hour chart, if you recall, the last confirmation was a strong short strength from this breakout and immediate break back in. However, price coming right back down to that pivot low, creating strong short strength. Now keep in mind, the reason why I did not take this short entry is because there's overarching monthly strong long strength on this pair. And so I'm only willing to take long entries. Okay, so in terms of that long entry, the trend line I'm looking at is from this pivot to this pivot right here. Now if price could come up to this level and break it out and immediately break back in, creating normal lower strength. Our price coming right back up to this pivot high will create strong long strength and override the strong short strength created at this level. Okay, and in the case of this pair, I will be willing to take a mid-road long entry. So let me explain that to you real quick. Get rid of these and zoom out. Okay, so again, that trend line confirmation is this trend line from this pivot to this pivot right here. And if price comes up to that trend line and breaks it out and immediate breaks back in, our still pulls right back up to that pivot high. This will be a mid-row long entry. However, in this case, the stop loss will have to be put at the last major pivot low on this time frame, which is right here, which is a rather big stop loss. So ideally, what I want price to do is to first make a new major pivot low on this time frame and then break it out and break back in, and furthermore come right back up to that pivot high, because this way I could actually put the stop loss at a much closer level, which will be right here. Okay, so I'll be looking for two types of entries on this pair. Now, one is this first case where price directly goes straight up and makes that strong long strength. However, in this case, I'm going to put the stop loss at this pivot low. Thus, I'll need a nice pullback before I take a long entry. And the second scenario is for price to range about, make a new major pivot low on this time frame, and then break it out, creating strong long strength, in which case I will enter immediately right when the strong long strength was created at this pivot high right here, and moreover put the stop loss at the last major 4-hour pivot low, which is right here. Okay, so I'll keep you guys updated with what happens on this one.
Okay, so that's it for the midweek analysis. Just a quick idea I want to run by you guys. So as I've been showing you guys with my forecast and analysis, having the ability to read the future direction of price is a mandatory skill in trading. However, it's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to trading in its entirety. So knowing how to read price and thus knowing the future direction of price is a basic skill in trading, and you're gonna want that. However, from there you want to go on to the next step of trading, which is to constantly increase your profit and maintain or perhaps even decrease your risk on each trade. And the way you're going to accomplish that is by further honing your entry strategy, trade management strategy, and stop loss strategy. And that's going to go on indefinitely. And so again, after you learn how to read price and thus know the future direction of price, the next step in trading is going to be to keep honing your strategy through your stop loss strategy, entry strategy, and trade management strategy to indefinitely increase profit, and at the very least maintain risk, or perhaps even decrease the risk. And that's the whole goal in trading at the next level. Okay, so I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and thanks for watching, guys. Okay, bye.